Hey guys, welcome to another episode of American Flag. My name is Randy Flag. Please like and subscribe. I have some really bad news today. Actually, my wife gave me the news. It's quite sad. Coco Lee has committed suicide. Okay. If you don't know if you know about Coco Lee, she was like real famous in the 90s, like late 90s. Like she was a superstar because when I went to China, like everybody knew about Coco Lee. When I went there 2004 or 5, everybody knew she was like an international star. Just based off of like just Mulan, because she sang the song Reflection in Mulan. I really didn't know what songs that she sang, but I think I just heard it like Reflection from Mulan. Oh, I was like, "Oh, I know that song." And I thought that Christina Aguilera had sung that song, right? But no, this is Coco Lee's song, and she has the Mandarin version of it. So she has committed suicide. So Hong Kong singer songwriter Coco Lee has died after trying to take her own life, according to a Facebook post by her sisters Wednesday. Lee sang the Mandarin version of the theme song Reflection from the 1998 Disney movie Mulan, and also became the first Chinese American to perform at the Oscars singing the Best Original Song nominated, A Love Before Time from Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Okay. Lee's sisters, Carol and Nancy, said she had been in a coma since making the suicide attempt over the weekend. With great sadness, we are here to break the most devastating news. Coco had been suffering from depression for a few years, but her condition deteriorated drastically over the last few months. Although Coco sought professional help and did her best to fight depression, sadly, that demon inside her took the better of her, they continued. The sisters said she had attempted suicide at home July 2nd and had been rushed to the hospital, where she had remained in a coma until her death. Lee was born in Hong Kong in 1975, then moved to the US, where she attended middle school and high school before embarking on a successful career in Asia as a pop singer. Initially a Mando pop singer, she also released albums in Cantonese and English over her 30-year career. So she died at like 48. So she's been like, since she was 18, she was a star. And so I think, her star has dropped, her star power has dropped a lot in the last 10 years. So, like, if you ask Chinese people now, like young kids, you like, Coco Lee? They'd be like, who? Who's Coco Lee? Like, you can ask, because when I was working 2 years ago in China and I asked people about, Coco Lee, they don't know, so because the generation is very different, it's people change, like icons change. I could have argued that she had like I would say at her height, like she had the star power of looks like somebody like I don't know. I'm trying to compare somebody. Um I would say yeah, like Christina Aguilera, maybe like this, because if you said Coco Lee in China, like they would know. They're like, no, yeah, I know Coco Lee. But in America, maybe not, because she sung this song in Mandarin. She didn't sing it in English, right? So she struggled to try to find her place in American um, music, and it didn't go very well because she just, even though she was Chinese American, it didn't translate. Her career didn't translate so much. But at the height of her career, she was in the Oscars. You know what I mean? But I think maybe she wanted more because once you make it to the Oscars once and that's your penultimate, like you're like, yo, I can do this again. And that was in 2002. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is 2002. Okay, 2001, something like that. And so, Crouching Tiger, like, yeah, 2000, I think it's 2001, something like that. So all of that way until now, like 20 years, you've been trying to mimic that success and you haven't been able to, while maybe other artists have been able to like cross platform, like the actress Fang Bingbing, like she can just cross platform, right? The girl that was in Transformers, something something baby, whatever her name is. But she has been able to transfer into that, right? And she's not making that type of money. And so you probably get into depression. She was the first Chinese singer to be signed by Sony Music globally and voiced the heroine Fa Mulan in the Mandarin version of Disney's Mulan, in which she also sang the theme. In 2001, Lee sang a Love Before Time, the end credit title song of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which picked up an Oscar nomination for Best Musical Original Song. She performed the song, which was composed by George, I don't know what's that, but you can see, right? Okay, so she acted in three films. Like you can see that it seems like she was on her way to like Whitney Houston. I can compare her to like Whitney Houston. Of course, Whitney Houston is uh, tons more famous, right? Because if you ask someone in China, like my wife's age, who is Whitney Houston, they might know her name. They will know her name, and if you play the song, they will know. Oh yeah, 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 like that one. But if you ask any young people that's under 20 or under 25, maybe they're not gonna know these people. They're not gonna know them. You know. Whereas you have somebody, if you say Michael Jackson, everybody knows Michael Jackson, even though they haven't. Nowadays, if you go to China and you ask, like, Michael Jackson, you know Michael Jackson? Yes, I know Michael Jackson, but they won't know a song by Michael Jackson. They will just know, oh, yeah, his name. His name is Michael Jackson. Yeah, I know Michael Jackson. But you like name a song. They can't name a song. That's how you know when you got star power. Like they know you, but they don't know your works. And so that was like me with Coco Lee. It's like I knew her because I remember in the 2000 in college when I was teaching in university, it's like Coco Lee, Coco Lee. Everybody was doing Coco Lee, Coco Lee. Coco Lee, Coco Lee. And I think because she was doing good in China for a bit and when she was doing Mandarin pop or whatever. And so she committed suicide. She's part of those people that committed suicide. Leslie Chung, if you know him, so that's Coco Lee. Leslie Chung, his star was rising, and I think he was gay. And that was the reason why he committed suicide. I think he committed suicide at like very young. Okay. So like at I think wow, 2003. So he was what, like 38 or something. So, he committed suicide and he was good at music and, he just was good at everything that he did, right? And then he just couldn't get over depression. And I have felt depression, man. It is like an overwhelming feeling of hopelessness and sadness. It's overwhelming. And you cry at everything. Like just certain things, you watch a movie, something happen, you start like bursting out crying. I think it's probably the food that we eating that causes chemicals in the brain to become imbalanced. Okay, because in the old days, I would say probably 40s, 50s, 40s, 30s, you didn't have this type of so many people committing suicide from being depressed or depression, right? And I think that's because the food was more organic. The chemicals that were being processed in our bodies um, probably were no chemicals really. You know, you could eat an egg, a regular egg, without it being like a huge egg, right? And the milk, right, was different. So everything was different. But nowadays, I think it's the process of the food, the social media engagement. Because I don't think she was very quiet in the last like 10 years. I haven't heard about her or anything. So I think when she was 18, 18 to probably like 2002, 3, she was at the pinnacle of her career. I mean, she had broken through mainstream. She's an international star. And then once you get the Oscars and you just go, it's down from there. It's just a roller coaster down from there. Yeah, you could be popular in China, but it's not the same as being popular everywhere, right? And I don't condone her doing that. I see it on the same level as murder. Like suicide is like you're murdering yourself. And what is that gonna do to her kids? She had children. She has two children by this her husband, okay, Bruce Rockowitz. And she has two sisters and she has two children, okay? Um and I don't know I think she died in America, I think. So she was born in British Hong Kong, 1975. And so let me see. Oh no, shoot. Okay, she died in Queen Mary Hospital, Hong Kong. Okay, yeah. So maybe the world has moved without her and she just like she couldn't take it. Like when you have that superstardom, it's just a long drop. And how many record labels she been? Look, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight record labels during her 20-year period. So that means she's always changing, right? Always changing to another record label. Always changing to another record label, right? I don't think that could have went over well. Okay, she was married to a guy. I guess he didn't make her happy enough. But my thing is like, um, why aren't your two children enough? You know what I'm saying? Like, why aren't your two children enough? See, you see a successful movie career or music career is going to be like three, like maybe three labels, right? This was probably just like this. You don't even count that one. You begin at Motown, right? One, two, pretty much four, right? Pretty much Motown, Epic, and Sony or whatever, right? Um, and then you compare to her, right? Which she's just been being bounced around several record labels, which means that they would do a record with her and then they'd be like, didn't sell well, only sold a little bit. Because if she sold well, they would keep her, right? Or she was happy with the contract, she would stay with the company, but she bounced around. So I think that may have caused a lot in her uh, depression. But I take pills very low. It has done a lot, right? I'd like to see a therapist, but they kind of too expensive. Um, but I'm good. Like I'm pretty good, but I can understand how she feels. Like I think she went through that midlife crisis and she just couldn't get through it. Like because once you have that height, it's all the way down from there. You know, once the height of your like physical being like is like 25 when your stuff stop growing, and then after that you're on your way to death after 25. It's just like 25 and then you're on your way to death basically. You're not getting better, like your body is not getting better, and biologically, you know, um brain development is because it's deteriorate after that, right? So yeah. So, this is the flag, and please like and subscribe, and let's have a moment of silence for Coco Lee.